this is Artie and Marissa, and you are listening to the podcast Birth Yourself Brave. And today we have Kelly Hainsworth, reflexologist, mentor, and founder of Love Reflexology. Welcome, Kelly.
Good morning, Artie. Thank you so much for inviting me to your very special podcast.
Thank you. Well, to be honest, it's because of you that we are actually here. This was a little idea in the womb, so to say. And then thanks to our mentoring, thanks to our chats, it's given me the confidence to talk with you about birthing yourself brave with reflexology.
I'm really honoured to be here and to have been a small part of your journey, and seeing everything come into fruition now is extremely exciting.
Well, you're very humble to say small part, but yes, that's one of your unique qualities, Kelly. Well, anyway, let's start talking about you and how you came to reflexology and this opportunity of growth and to be honest, like a rebirth. So please tell us more about how you came into reflexology.
Thank you, Artie. So it feels like another lifetime ago almost. So back in 2005, I was a stay-at-home mum. I was taking a career break after having our daughter, and just really enjoying that slower pace of life. Home baking and all the things that I'd
Lovely.
almost dreamt of doing, and I actually had that opportunity to do it. So I feel very lucky to have had that time. Then in 2006, we were just enjoying that slow pace of life when my youngest brother died very suddenly and unexpectedly. And the shock of the bereavement, not just for myself, but my whole family, it was huge. And the ripple on all of us emotionally, physically, when when you have a shock bereavement, it has such a significant impact on your whole being. So I had many months following John's death that I really struggled to switch off. I couldn't relax, and sleep was one of the main things that I found very, very difficult. I didn't sleep well at night. I had very broken sleep. I found it very difficult to switch off. And I was chatting with a friend one day about this, and she said, "Kelly, why don't you go and have some reflexology?" And I was thinking, okay, well, I've heard of it. I don't really know what it is or how it works, but I was at that point in my life where I was so exhausted, Artie. I needed to do something. I needed to try and rediscover me again and get my strength back. So I found a local reflexologist and booked a session. And I will admit, I was quite nervous going along because I truly didn't know what to expect. Um, and as I walked into her therapy room, I felt this calmness kind of wash over me. And as I sat in her chair, and I always really remember her chair, it was this really kind of cushioned white leather chair. And I felt like my whole body was having a hug. And it was the most incredible feeling. And I closed my eyes through the session, and I did cry, and I released a lot of emotion during that session. But I just remember that calmness that washed over me. I then went home afterwards and I felt really exhausted. And for the first night in months, I actually slept through the whole night. And when you haven't slept well and when you felt so exhausted, to sleep through a whole evening is the most incredible feeling. So I woke the following morning feeling more refreshed and a bit stronger and able to then process what was going on. I was able to support the wider family. So I had some more sessions, and with each session I got stronger, and the good sleep continued to happen, and I felt able then to really process my brother's death and able to support in particular my parents, who they'd lost their youngest child, which is one of the most awful things for any parent to go through. And months followed, and I just thought, I want to learn about reflexology. I want to understand it. I want to get to the true core of what reflexology is, so that I could then go on and help other people in the same way that reflexology had helped me. I also was at that point where I wanted to focus. I wanted to channel my energies into something. So I did lots of research, and I found an amazing course under the tutor Alison Walker. And I don't know if you've ever met Alison, but she is one of the most incredible tutors I've ever met. She is the kindest person. And I knew instantly when I chatted with her, she was the right person to go and to be taught by. So Alison then was under the International Institute of Reflexology. She's now actually gone on and created her own school called
Yeah.
Contemporary Reflexology College. So she's had her own journey. But I feel very privileged to have been trained by Alison. The course was incredible. The support she gave was incredible. And I had an amazing 12 months with her and all the other practitioners that I was with. And when I qualified that year later, I dedicated my training to John. My qualification in it is in his memory. I set my business up in his memory. He is with me every day. So when I have an amazing success story with a client, when I work with my mentor clients, when I created Love Reflexology, he is behind me. He is there always with me. And I hope I'm doing him very proud.
Definitely,
Um,
Kelly. I can feel him even here.
because he was an incredible young man. He truly believed in living life to the full and to going for things. Um, he had no fear about anything. So I've tried to take some of that from his character and really push forward in my business now, so I can support and empower other therapists to truly blossom and go on and help others.
That's beautiful, Kelly. It's so wonderful how vulnerable and how raw your story is, because I think a lot of people. So one of the reasons why we're doing this podcast is, as well, is of course it's to help others and to empower others. But sometimes we just need to sit with our discomfort
Hmm.
and find,
Absolutely.
yeah, and as you said, isn't it, it was hard for you initially to be able to process his death and
Hmm.
support your family and your daughter as well. And in a way, you actually converted the overwhelm that you went through into something that is flourishing and blossoming, and you've kept his memory alive every moment, which
Hmm.
is, which is amazing. It's literally birthing yourself brave every moment.
Absolutely. And Artie, if I ever have, we all have days, don't we, where we doubt ourselves. We
Yes.
all have it. I did it when I had wobble days when I was about to launch the Love Reflexology website and thinking, oh, am I doing the right thing? Are people going to receive it well? And then I just step back and think, what would John say? What would he think? And he'd be saying, I can imagine him saying, just do it. It will either work or it won't. Just do it, and you won't know if you don't try. And so I have that little reminder from him in the back of my mind, and it just then encourages me. Yeah, let's go for it. Let's do it. What do we have to lose?
Yeah, that's amazing how you've actually used that as a transformation, as a changing tool to any of your setbacks. If you've
Mhm.
got that, in a way, we talk about the inner voice or the inner critic. You've got a positive critic there to try to
Yes,
like push you all the way, which
absolutely.
it's lovely because it's a wonderful way, because there's always this yin and yang, isn't it? There's always duality. It would consist of good and bad. So
Mhm.
when you're going through a little bit of a wobble or a bit of a low moment, he's there to lift you, and we all have that.
Yeah.
You have lovely John. I think it's wonderful if anybody hearing this at this moment in time and they're going through this, to just to assess that whatever negative they have, rather than, I think a lot of the times we're very quick, like say for example, if you had just found out that John had passed away and somebody told you to go and do reflexology, you wouldn't have done it.
Mhm.
Whereas you nicely gradually went through the grief yourself, that release. And I think that's a lot of our problems. We want quick fixes, and sometimes we need to sit with our discomfort, and
Yeah.
it's hard to navigate through loss.
Oh, it's very difficult, and the whole grief journey is very difficult. It's very challenging. There are ups and downs, and there are days when you think you've made huge progress, and then the next day you feel like you've gone back 100 steps. And even, grief can overcome you even years down the line, you can have days where it washes over you and you think, gosh, where did that emotion come from? But it's only when you truly, as you say, sit with the uncomfortable side of it that you can start to truly process what's going on and use it to kind of move forwards. I never say move on, it's moving forwards, and I take John and his memory with me.
That's beautiful, because a lot of people think it's a taboo to mention the names of people who have passed away. It's a stigma to remember the our loved ones who have passed over. Whereas the way you've done this is so subtle yet so powerful.
Mm-hmm.
For you, and let's talk about love reflexology, because on the superficial level, nobody will be able to tell the grief that you've gone through, because you're flourishing with this beautiful, this wonderful, it's growing moment to moment, week to week. I remember when I was first part of it, it was like, do you remember we used to have the Twitter hours or something?
Yes.
And every week you used to get somebody. I've known you for longer than I actually reached out. So tell me a little bit more about how you birthed yourself brave through love reflexology, and a little bit about your mentoring and anything and everything.
Okay, so oh gosh, so Artie, working as a therapist, it can be a lonely profession at times. We're all, either working from our home therapy rooms or we've got rooms that we rent. And at times it can be very lonely. We're busy managing our client diaries, we're running our social media campaigns, we're doing our accounts. We wear so many hats, don't we, as a therapist? And sometimes we just want somebody to bounce ideas off, or if we've got a little worry, if something's happened in the treatment room, we want to be able to share it with somebody who truly understands what we're talking about. Obviously, many of us have got very supportive families and partners, but they don't completely understand the world that we're in. So to have other therapists to connect with, I feel, is very empowering. So back in August 2017, I had this idea to create a Facebook group. And that's all it was going to be to start with. It was going to be a Facebook group to hopefully bring practitioners together, so they had a safe space to connect, to be supported and be empowered in their businesses. I never imagined that it would grow as quickly as it did. I welcome practitioners from every country, from every association. So it is a very, very inclusive community, because I feel we have so much to learn from each other. I've loved learning from some of the American therapists and in France and Australia, because we've all got slightly different ways of doing things. And I feel as a profession, we're actually stronger if we can all come together, no matter where we're from or what association we are with or who we've been taught by. We are so much stronger when we can come together in that way. So since 2017, we've grown from being a Facebook group to now being on Instagram and Twitter. And then this year, I actually launched the Love Reflexology website. And on there, we have the business directory, which I'm very privileged that you are part of, Artie.
Thank you.
So on the directory, we have everything that a therapist may need to support their business. So we have amazing CPD courses, we have therapy supplies, we have business support services such as mentoring or website design. So that it's kind of a one-stop shop for everything that a therapist may need to grow and be supporting their business. The website also hosts articles from guest writers. We have research links, and more recently we have the shop. So it's encompassing everything to allow that therapist to feel truly supported. Now, I feel during this year in particular, the COVID-19 pandemic has truly highlighted the importance of having community,
Wow.
because we've all been through a very challenging time all around the globe, and it's still obviously going on. We're about in England to head into our next lockdown. Some of the therapists in the group already are having their second lockdown. So the challenges that brings for a business owner is very real. And during this period, we, as a community and in the Facebook group in particular, we have laughed together, we have cried together. There's been some frustrations because there are very real worries out there at the moment. People are worried about financial situations. When is this going to end? And those worries, we can all support each other together as a community. And we got through the first lockdowns. We've overcome that and successfully all reopened our businesses. And it is difficult at the moment, but as a community, we will get through this next set of lockdowns and we will come out the other side stronger as a community. Now, obviously, Love Reflexology at the moment is just purely an online community, and it has been since 2017. But my real hope, once COVID-19 calms down and we can have situations where we can all be together, I want to bring everyone together face to face, because the relationships that have been blossoming in the group are so beautiful. I just thought, wouldn't it be wonderful if we could actually all meet in person? So I've got some very lovely ideas sort of developing at the moment whilst we're in these situations, and then hopefully next year I'm hoping to start to bring people face to face and take those online connections offline to truly empower everybody further.
Yeah. Yeah, so depending on when, just to kind of reiterate, depending on when this episode is going to be released, so this has been recorded in 2020, so it might be this current year that you're hearing it. So we've got a lot to look forward. And then again, just the way you've explained, if Love Reflexology is able to support everyone during this global pandemic, it's such a wonderful source of support for any ups and downs, any ebbs and flows of life.
Absolutely. Every therapist has different times where they may be struggling to get clients through the door. They may be having a house move, so they're moving location and have got to effectively start their business from scratch again. So the community's there. It's there to support them through every up and down in their business. And what I love is that we can all be really honest. So we can say, this is not going well today, or I'm having clients cancel today. And then immediately you'll get all these responses with all these fabulous ideas and suggestions. Well, why don't you try this? And don't worry. And the support everybody gives to each other is truly incredible. And I feel very proud to be part of it.
Definitely, Kelly. It's wonderful. I know this community is only for reflexologists, but I think one of the reasons why I wanted to highlight this is that anybody that needs the support, just acknowledge the need that you want that support, and the doors will open. Just very quickly, I know when I lost my baby Alma as well, I got a lot of support online by complete strangers.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes when I see you welcoming all of these strangers in the group, and they all become such a wonderful community. So that the key is to remember, just reach out, and you will find people like yourself, Love Reflexology, other communities, because together we're stronger.
Absolutely.
Of course, it's nice to be able to face your own demons by yourself, but you need to strengthen yourself. Initially, it's a community, as you said. No, thank you. And I still really like how you mentioned John, and how because of him, Love Reflexology is there. So it's really nice. Thank you, Kelly.
You're very welcome.
And then I wanted to just end with a wonderful, for me, you are my Instagram queen. So I've fallen in love with Instagram again. And social media, so to say. And I remember one of the conversations we had together is you said something like, there's no need to kind of have it all perfect. Just go for it, and then just start enjoying it and playing with it. So I personally now feel that social media is awakening creativity within you and birthing yourself brave every moment, especially right now. For me, it's the Instagram reels, which are so fascinating. So please tell me, because I know you also offer social media training, which you don't talk a lot about, but you do offer, Instagram more so.
Mhm.
Please talk to me a little bit more about this.
Yes, so obviously, aside from my love reflexology work and my reflexology clients, I offer two areas of support for therapists. So I either offer my mentoring work, which is a one-to-one service where I work with therapists. So this necessarily might not just be reflexologist; it might be any type of therapist, and I work with them on a one-to-one basis. I listen to their goals, and those goals might be for their business and their personal life, and look at what lifestyle they want to create. So for some therapists, they may want to create a business which allows them to be there after school so they can support their children and be there for the family. Other therapists, their goal may be that they want to work full time. They want to create this big business. They want to have other therapists working with them. So what I listen to what they want, what their goals are, what their dreams are. And then as their mentor, I'm there as their support. We put plans in place. Those plans might be creating a business plan. It might be creating social media accounts. It might be that I am just there as a sounding board while they grow in confidence. And it's just the most incredibly rewarding job when you see a therapist grow as we work together. And when they go off after the package ends and they flourish, and you see not just their business flourishing, but them as individuals flourishing, that for me is the most rewarding part of my work. It's truly, truly incredible. And then the second area of my work, which is a new strand, which has only been added very recently, is my Instagram training, which you kindly mentioned. So again, I always work on a one-to-one basis, and I do that because every therapist has a completely different need. Their business is unique to them. They're unique. So the work I do is very tailored to them and what they need to help them achieve their goals. So we dig deep on what they want to achieve with Instagram. We go through all the practical tips. How do you do an IGTV? How do you do stories? Those kind of things. And then what that allows that practitioner to do is then use the platform with confidence, have a go, and create their own unique style for their business. Because what we don't want is lots of accounts looking all very similar and very samey. I want that therapist to go on and create something that's very special and unique to them, that stands out for them, because that's when they will connect with their new clients, their existing clients. And when you see therapists go off and do that after the Power Hour sessions, oh, it's just incredible. So, for example, so we looked at different templates. We looked at color themes and branding. It was more about
Yeah.
a visual goal. And now I'm sitting back watching her. She has grown in so much confidence. She's developed this beautiful style on Instagram. And what's that has now led her to find new clients. She's getting new business. She's getting new people through to her website. They're signing up to her newsletter, and everything is growing and everything is flourishing. And I just feel giving somebody the tools to then go on and develop their style, it's just the most incredibly rewarding work.
No, definitely. It's like you're the so-called parent, aren't you? You know, you're giving them the wings to fly, and then you see them soaring to the heights that even sometimes you even don't imagine, isn't it? It's
Absolutely. I
really
always, when I come to the end of either the mentoring packages or the Instagram powers, I always feel like a proud mum. And I often say that to my clients. And when you see them just grow in confidence, that's just very rewarding, Artie. It really is.
Oh, thank you, Kelly. We've covered quite a lot talking about your reflexology, how you came to it. Love reflexology, and finishing off with the mentoring and the Instagram. Anything else that you want to mention? Anything that I may have not asked you that you were really keen to share with others?
I would just really like to end by wishing all of the therapists that are listening to the podcast,
And
every
clients, and clients.
and clients.
Yeah, yeah, because you, it's for both. You look after clients as well.
I just want to really wish everybody lots of happiness and good health for the coming months. We are living in very challenging times. I know some of my reflexology clients have had very, very difficult years this year. And I really want to just wish everybody a lot of peace, a lot of good health. And as we move forward into the next year, into 2021, I hope it brings everybody everything they want it to bring.
Lovely. Thank you. Thank you. That's a very heartfelt wish for everyone. And even whoever's hearing this afterwards as well, at any time, it's a lovely invitation to be healthy, to be prosperous. Yeah, thank you. If you can go through the global pandemic, we can pretty much go through anything, so to say.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So if you're hearing this at any time, it's still, use it as a lovely platform to grow yourself brave through reflexology, through whatever you choose, as long as you've got the community and that will to be healthy. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Thank you for inviting me today, Artie.
Thank you for listening. Please do not forget to rate, review, and subscribe for future episodes, and also to let other people know that we exist. If there are any links mentioned that you cannot view, visit the YouTube channel Artie and Marissa, and you will find them on the relevant episode under the playlist of Birth Yourself Brave podcast.